Pick up any subcompact SUV ranking and the Honda HR-V is going to show up somewhere near the middle of the pack. That's been the story for years. A roomy, well-equipped little crossover that somehow manages to get almost everything right except for one glaring problem. Stick around because the pros are genuinely worth knowing, but the cons are the kind that can quietly ruin the ownership experience. As usual, we are starting with the good stuff, the reasons buyers keep putting the HR-V on their shopping lists. Number 4. Spacious cabin. Anyone who has spent time shopping in the subcompact SUV segment knows the frustration. The exterior looks like it should fit 4 adults comfortably, but then you climb into the back seat and your knees are practically touching the seat in front of you. It happens constantly in this class, and it's one of the biggest reasons buyers end up stepping into a more expensive compact SUV they didn't originally budget for. The HR-V is one of the few vehicles in this segment that's actually solving that problem. The rear row is where it's genuinely separating itself. Knee room is plentiful, adults are not going to feel punished back there, and it's a noticeably different experience compared to alternatives like the Nissan Kicks or Toyota Corolla Cross. Then there's the cargo area, sitting at 24.4 cubic feet behind the rear seats and 55.1 cubic feet with them folded. For anyone daily driving this and occasionally hauling gear on weekends, the HR-V's cabin is delivering more than its size is ever going to suggest. So, the cabin is impressively roomy for the class, but a spacious interior only tells half the story. The other half is what Honda is putting inside it, and the base trim's feature list is going to raise some eyebrows. Number 3. Lots of standard equipment in base models. Most people shopping in this price range know exactly how the game is played. The advertised starting price looks reasonable, but the feature list on the base trim turns out to be nearly empty. And suddenly, the vehicle that seemed affordable is requiring a mid-range trim just to feel complete. It's one of the most common disappointments in the car buying process. That's precisely where the HR-V Base LX is doing something different. For just $28,000, the standard list is genuinely impressive. A 9-inch touchscreen is already in the base model, along with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and wireless device charging. There's also adaptive cruise control, automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, driver attention monitoring, and a rear seat alert. All standard. Buyer stepping into a base HR-V is not going to feel like they compromised, and that's a difficult thing to pull off at this price point. That kind of value at the base level is hard to beat, but if you think the equipment list is impressive, wait until you hear what the HR-V is doing at the fuel pump. Number 2. Good fuel economy for a gas-only SUV. Here's a situation a lot of buyers are finding themselves in right now. They want better fuel economy, but they're not quite ready to commit to a hybrid, whether that's the price premium, the complexity, or simply preferring a traditional powertrain. The problem is that most gas-only subcompact SUVs are not delivering numbers worth getting excited about. The HR-V is making a strong case that a hybrid badge isn't the only path to solid efficiency. Front-wheel drive models are rated at 26 miles per gallon city and 32 miles per gallon highway, with all-wheel drive trims coming in at 25 city and 30 highway. During real-world testing, an all-wheel drive HR-V was returning 27.7 miles per gallon in combined driving, actually beating its EPA estimate, with one highway run producing 440 miles of range on a single tank. For a purely gas-powered subcompact SUV without any electrification assistance, those numbers are hard to argue with. The fuel economy is holding up well, but here's where the HR-V is doing something almost no one in this segment is bothering to do anymore, and it has nothing to do with horsepower numbers. Number 1. Solid number of physical controls. Think about the last time you tried to adjust the temperature while driving, only to end up buried 3 menus deep at a touchscreen, eyes off the road. It's one of the most genuinely frustrating things about modern vehicles, and it's getting worse as automakers keep removing physical controls in the name of a cleaner look. What used to take a single button tap now requires navigating an interface that was never designed for use at 70 miles per hour. Honda is not playing that game in the HR-V. Climate controls, volume tuning, physical knobs and buttons are handling all of it, keeping eyes on the road instead of hunting across a screen. The infotainment runs on a 9-inch touchscreen, but the surrounding layout is designed with actual usability in mind. Menus are clean, logic is straightforward, and physical controls are filling in exactly where a touchscreen would slow everything down. In a segment racing toward touchscreen-only cockpits, the HR-V is proving that simplicity still has real value, and buyers tired of buried submenus are going to appreciate this from the very first drive. Now let's get into the cons, and these are the kind worth taking seriously. Number 3. No hybrid option available. Fuel costs are not going down. It's exactly why hybrid SUVs have been selling so well. Buyers want to stretch every tank further without giving up the utility of an SUV. The demand is clearly there, and the technology is clearly available, which makes what Honda is doing with the HR-V particularly difficult to understand. The HR-V shares its platform with the Civic. Honda already builds a Civic hybrid. The engineering foundation is in place, but the connection is not being made in the US market. A hybrid HR-V is sold internationally, but American buyers are being left with a single gas-only powertrain. Rivals are offering hybrid variants, and shoppers prioritizing long-term efficiency are going to find those options increasingly hard to pass up. Therefore, US buyers are left paying full gas prices and watching competitors gain ground with electrified options the HR-V simply isn't offering, and there's no clear explanation for why. Missing a hybrid is a frustrating omission, but it's not the most immediately felt problem on this list. That title belongs to something a driver is going to notice every single time they pull into traffic. Number 2. Weak and loud powertrain. There's a specific kind of frustration that comes with merging onto a highway in an underpowered vehicle. The gap in traffic is there, the moment is right, you press the accelerator and nothing happens fast enough. It's the kind of experience that wears on a driver over time, turning a routine commute into something that requires planning every merge. That's the reality of living with the HR-V's 2.0-liter 4-cylinder paired with a CVT. With 158 horsepower and 138 pound-feet of torque, the 0 to 60 run is coming in around 9.4 to 9.8 seconds, sluggish every time the road demands more than a gentle cruise. But performance is only one side of the problem. When pushed, the engine produces a gruff, strained noise that makes everything feel effortful rather than composed. The chassis is well sorted, the ride smooth, the steering precise. Everything suggests a capable vehicle, but the powertrain is not keeping up. Rivals like the Mazda CX-30 and Kia Seltos are offering notably more performance at similar price points, and that gap is going to be felt daily. A slow and noisy engine is bad enough, but combine it with the last con on this list, and the HR-V's long-distance comfort picture starts looking a lot less appealing. Number 1. Not the most comfortable front seats. Long drives have a way of revealing a vehicle's real character. The first hour feels fine, the second is manageable, but by hour 3, a poorly designed seat makes itself known in a way no amount of positive features can cancel out. It's easy to overlook during a short test drive and impossible to ignore once ownership actually begins. And this is where the HR-V is coming up short in a genuinely surprising way. The rear seat is spacious and well padded, which makes it all the more unusual that the front seats are the ones falling behind. Reviewers consistently describe them as slightly firm with less cushioning and contouring than rivals in this segment are offering. For short commutes, it won't register, but buyers planning longer drives are going to want to factor this in carefully. For a vehicle marketed as a comfortable daily driver, the front seat experience is the one area where the HR-V is not quite delivering on what everything else is promising. The 2027 Honda HR-V is easy to respect and occasionally difficult to love. The rear cabin is roomier than most of the competition, the base trim arrives packed with tech and safety features, rivals hide behind upgrade packages, fuel economy is beating expectations at the pump, and the physical control layout is a refreshing step back toward common sense. But none of that makes the powertrain feel less strained on a steep on-ramp or the missing hybrid easier to accept, or those front seats softer on R4 of a road trip. The HR-V is a strong daily driver for buyers whose priorities line up with what it's offering. But walking in with a clear picture of both sides is going to make the decision a whole lot easier. Rivals in this segment aren't much different, and each one comes with strong and weak points. The Subaru Crosstrek, which you can check out in our next video, is no exception. It may be the most rugged and most off-road capable model in the class, but it's not exactly the most refined option around.